Well, this second week has been something else. But let's start with a high note. Monday morning, 8 a.m., our drill rig arrives with our drill team, Tobias and Will of Bruce MacKay. I want to tell you about our driller Tobias, but first, a little context. In doing our research for the budget, we found that nationally, wells range from $25 to $68 a foot. So when our quote from Bruce MacKay said $100 per foot, I thought, are they ripping us off? But in Nevada, if you want to live on your off-grid property, wells are both mandatory and expensive. Isn't that a weird coincidence? So to say Athena and I were stressing this first and most vital investment into our property is an understatement. But let me tell you something. In the time it took him to shake my hand and walk me around the rig, the anxiety around the value of our investment disappeared.
You know, there's no science behind choosing a drill location. I had thought they'd come out and they shoot something under the ground, some kind of laser or radar or something, and have something bounce back up and tell them, hey, this is where your water pocket is, this is how deep it is. But it was literally, they came out, they were like, where do you want the well? And I'm like, here. And they're like, sure, guy. So when Tobias showed up, the whole time he was doing this, he was talking through his experience, his decades of experience, his time at sea, his time offshore, his time in Alaska, all these different wells that he's dug in different locations, the things that he's ran into. And he had told me as well that he had spent the night before researching the plots around me and finding out the other wells in the area, what they ran into in their drill, how far down they had to go, et cetera, et cetera. So as the rig got set up and we prepped for drilling the well, we were incredibly optimistic. We're about 2 hours into drilling. He's just finishing up the third pole right now, which means about 60 feet. Every pole is 20 feet. And if you take a look back here, you can see that things are going pretty well. The drill's hit a couple snags of harder rock, but for the most part, it's been smooth sailing. And even the rock that he has hit, he's backed the drill off a little bit and then re-hit it at a slower pace, and it's ground right through. Now apparently, thousands and tens of thousands of years ago, about 60 feet down, used to be solid granite. And over time, because of rainfall and groundwater and earthquakes and all the other things that happen over time, that granite's turned to gravel, which makes it pretty easy for him to drill through. So they're about 170 feet deep now. The next 100 feet or so will kind of determine our future here on the property. We should see water in the next 100 feet though.
Tobias is explaining to me that what he's seeing is granite, soft and hard layers all the way down. 200 feet of solid purple granite. Now, Tobias says this is a good thing. What we're looking for are fractures in the granite, which will most likely be formed by water, and rock water is often some of the cleanest.
So this is the mud truck, and you can see here we've got two pretty distinct piles happening. We've got this sand stuff coming out, and we've got this granite, and this is what we've been cutting through. And you can see the purple in both the sand and the the rock, and this is all granite. So there's a whole layer of substrate granite that he's going through right now. And this is what's coming out of our hole. So what we're looking for is for big drops in that drill to drop, and that means it's falling into those fissures to find water. So it's 7 a.m. the next day. 300 feet down, no water. Now, Tobias says that there still could be water down this hole. It's just not going to be the abundant amount that we had hoped for. The telltale signs for that would have been one of these entire pipes breaking through the granite rock and hitting water and then sinking, and all the water in here kind of draining out all at once. That did not happen. Now, Tobias says he did hit a few fissures on the way down, and fissures in the granite kind of indicate that water has seeped through and made its way through the granite to somewhere beneath. But 300 feet down, and we didn't hit anything. Tobias has over 30 years of experience. Hearing him say, "I've never seen this before," was a little scary. There are other wells in the area. Behind me, back in the Green Saddle community, across the freeway and the rest of Golconda, they've all dug through to Caliche and hit water at about 300 feet, 200 to 300 feet. We're now 300 feet down, $30,000. $30,000 for a hole that might not produce water. And if it does produce water, is going to produce a lackluster amount. If I can get at least 8 gallons per minute out of this well, we can limp by. But anything less than that, and it's going to require some drastic measures. There is a woman out of Grass Valley that Tobias told me about whose well was only producing 6 gallons a minute. And what she ended up doing is getting two $1,200 gallon tanks, putting those 1,200 gallon tanks above ground with a pump. The well pumps water into those tanks, and then she pumps that water out at a pressure that is preferable for her. And then the well pump kind of backfills those tanks. So there are options. They're not great. They're going to cost us more money. But I won't know for sure until they get out here. Tobias said he was going to go back last night, talk to Monty, and discuss kind of what to do next. And there are a few options. Our options are A, we abandon this hole, I pick another one, and we start digging again, which is a very tough pill to swallow. You know, we're committed. We have about $85,000 of our budget left, but we're kind of held hostage by this well. If it takes $85,000 for us to get water, then we've got to spend $85,000. That's option one. Option two is he might say, well, let's go a little further. You know, the thing that both of them kept saying with the granite is, granite's good. It means that underneath the granite is probably a rock cavern, and once you break through the base of that granite, you're going to hit a cache of water that could be sweet water, it could be great water. And if and when we did hit that cache, it could be in such abundance that it brings up the property value of not only this property, but all the surrounding properties as they come to realize how much water has been below ground. But how far down do we go until we break through that granite? 500 feet, 600 feet, 700 feet? What? It's thousands of dollars we don't have. That's option two. Option three is the most likely of the options, and that's that he's going to come back with piping, and they're going to drop a series of solid pipes and perforated pipes down into the hole, and then start to back pump what's down there and see if in fact we have water. The reason that they left it like this last night was to let the water in the slurry that they were shooting into it last night settle down to the bottom. That'll make it so when they drop those perforated pipes and they start pulling up water, we can see what we actually have. So hopefully we see some water today. And either way, I'll give an update and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's where we're at. They hit water, and not only did they hit water, we have, Tobias is estimating, between 90 and 115 gallons per minute. But even at the low end, Tobias is going to write down 90 gallons per minute, and even at that end, that is a substantial amount of water. It's so much water that normally the lifespan on a well is between 10 and 50 years. And 10 to 50 years really depends on how much water is beneath the ground, your usage, and how much pressure is down in that ground. And from what I've been told today, our well is a multi-generational well. We'll be able to use this well for the rest of my lifetime, for the rest of Athena's lifetime, and then whoever ends up with the property after we're dead and buried will continue to have use of that well throughout their lifetime. So I'm gonna call the Bruce MacKay office, get on the schedule for the pump. I'm gonna finish planting the rest of the trees that we had purchased today, and then I might just collapse from exhaustion.
So in Winnemucca, there was only one mobile repair guy. Now it ended up that the manufacturers were the ones that were on the hook for this repair, since it happened immediately after leaving the lot. They sent over a list of steps for the repair guy to follow. He followed 0 of them, but rather than wait another week without the ability to shower, we paid the $600, kept the receipt, and will hope that Forest River makes good. But at the end of the day, our tank was fixed. And using a handy little invention Adam cooked up with our old pool pump, we were able to refill the tank, then clean ourselves and our stuff.
So we got 2 wins. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kisses. Can you get out of my shot? Can you maybe get out of my shot a little bit? Huh? Is that possible? No? No? You're gonna do the whole shot? That is some hot ass breath. Next week, we're going to have the septic guy out. We'll be finding out our price and time frame on the septic. Yesterday was the members meeting for the board to find out if our street names will get approved. So if those are approved, then the septic can go ahead. One's kind of tied to the other. Adam bought a new shed that he's going to be turning into his workspace. So we're going to go into Elko to pick that up and probably do a little shopping while we're there. And we'll be towing it back with the edge. That'll be a lot of fun.
Each of us is out here for different reasons. I won't speak to theirs, but I can tell you mine. This place offers me something I've been searching for my entire adult life. A place to call my own.